Hello everyone, welcome to F1 PitStop. I am your host, Legend Manuel Anthony, and we are finally having a video podcast coming out, guys. We finally did it. We're having F1 video podcast straight out from the heart of Uganda, the Pearl of Uganda. And ladies and gentlemen, we're in for a long one. After 5 weeks of no action at all, but this is Formula One. The action never ends. From start to finish, we have rules being changed. We have new parts, new cars being introduced. I've heard someone brought in a B-type car. Guys, it's going crazy. All coming in for the next race that we're going to be having in Miami. Guys, you have to stay locked in on the F1 PitStop, and we have all the details for you. Also, there might be a caveat for Mercedes and Red Bull that might make them slower in qualifying that you definitely do not want to miss. Let's dive in. Very first topic and our very first segment of this episode, and that is the MGU-K being banned. So, what was this MGU-K shutdown trick and qualifying loophole that Mercedes and Red Bull were using? Ideally, this it was used mainly for obviously qualifying to get an extra edge, about 300th of a second of an edge over their competitors. And it started really gaining traction, I think, after to the Japanese Grand Prix, when Kimi Antonelli during practice was seemingly having issues with his car. And you guys are wondering, like, bro, it's practice. We know cars are supposed to be having issues now, bro. Some of your issues don't make sense. Ideally, like the car was slowing down at not slowing down on track is not, unless, because it doesn't make sense for you to slow down on track. You're allowed to brake, like reduce your speed through braking, but your car just slowing down and you have not controlled it and it just started slowing down by itself is a safety hazard for most cars in F1, because mainly the car is made to go fast. And why would it be slowing down if you've not controlled it? So a lot of questions started getting asked after the Japanese Grand Prix. Obviously, that had come about, and people have seen that they're like, no, is this like okay? Are we allowed to do these questions? Obviously, we asked, and immediately after the Japanese Grand Prix, we had Ferrari going to the FIA and asking them to investigate the MGU-K of the Red Bull and the Mercedes. Obviously, it was mainly used by the Mercedes. They were benefiting more from it because you see they were winning. They were always qualifying above most of their teammates, and they couldn't really. Though obviously Ferrari, my team, was always around the corner, like like a fox. You get me? So after Ferrari reported it obviously to the FIA, you would be like, no, I don't think it's going to be banned. But it actually needed to be banned because it was a performance enhancer. It gave the opponent teams an edge over the rest of the teams on top of the safety implication that they had. Remember, 300th of a second, 300th. I have braces, guys, so apologies. So 300th of a second sounds like such a small margin, right? But that's what Formula One is all about, the margins. So imagine someone having that small edge over you. That means every single time, however much your car peaks to a certain speed, and that means they will always have an edge over you of just 300th of a second. So you will never cut them in essence. You will never cut them. They will always have those 300th of a second, like power more than you do. So a lot of teams wanted this to get banned. You get. Also, some stemming from the fact that they couldn't actually replicate it. And that's where most of the beef comes from. Ferrari's standpoint comes from a point of mainly safety and them being able to replicate it, but they want to understand because the safety implications seemed greater than what Mercedes and Red Bull make it out to look like. So they needed, first of all, the FIA to confirm, like, okay, yeah, it's kawaii, you guys can do this. It's safe, but find a safe route. So there was no safe route around it. So that's why they're like, man, investigate this. We need to get to the bottom of this so that other teams, for those who can. For those who can't, yeah, boo-hoo. So majority of the teams actually could not replicate it. That's where the main beef now stems from. The guys couldn't replicate. The guys don't want to believe. You guys don't want to believe. If your boy can do something and you can't, move aside. Vamulain. So there was a trade-off, obviously. So there was a hickey in this. So the driver would get 350 kilowatts. So ideally, the deployment would be for like a slightly shorter period of time than usual, but what this person gets is a bump, like a bump in power. So like 6 seconds. Sorry, no. That's when the MGU-K would not be active immediately after you had done this. If you use this trick like how Mercedes were using it, so the moment you were done deploying your car and you've got all this power for even a shorter period of time, your car wouldn't be able to deploy the battery for 6 seconds. 6 seconds you can't deploy. I think if you guys can remember when, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it was mainly used in qualifying, but even the races you could see it. You remember when it was the race, not race leader, at the time the championship leader Russell attacking the one and only Charles Leclerc? And there are moments where you would feel like, Maniga, I think now you can have an edge over the person. And he couldn't, because the battery deployment was for a shorter period of time because of this MGU-K trick that they had. Yes, they had more power, but for a shorter period. So all I had to do as the driver, maybe you're trying to overtake, is just to wait for you to like max out your battery time, even with that excess power you've got, and make sure my battery is fully loaded to attack you, even on the corner. And that's why you realize half the time, during the corners, Ferrari was really overtaking the Mercedes. I think if you really watch the past races, and you could realize, that's why you would even hear Ferrari was really fast on the corners and also not so great, and Mercedes was fast on the straights. That's not a whole thing. It's just like a small advantage they got, obviously, but it was key. It was, so it's going to get banned. This MGU-K trick is going to get done. So coming into Miami this weekend, we are not having that anymore. And let's see how qualifying would be like. Obviously, it was 300th of a second. It's not too much, but it's something. And it being taken away, will it be missed? I don't think so per se, but it was an edge that they had that, I mean, they were taking advantage of it on top of having a very good engine. So the one thing I'm asking myself is how Red Bull was using it, man, because those guys have been have really been bad this current season. Hopefully, fingers crossed for them anyway. Let them not come back. I'm a Ferrari fan. Let them not come back. Let them stay where they are, actually. Yeah, for our own case, for our own good. So let's get into something else now. Now that we have that covered, you know the MGU-K has been shipped out. No more. Let's now dive into now the main thing that has brought us why we are here. That is the Miami weekend. Obviously, we are heading for another round of Formula One after a whole month, guys. So we're having the Miami Grand Prix this week, and a lot of teams are coming in with a lot of upgrades, guys. A lot of upgrades. Ferrari has upgrades. Mercedes, not so much of upgrades, more of like fine tuning. We have Red Bull upgrades as well. McLaren upgrades as well. I believe they have the biggest, though I feel the more impactful changes maybe for Ferrari, because of the fact that obviously McLaren is using a Mercedes engine. So just by default, you already have a better car. So that's something I don't really, I'm like, yeah, they're getting a B-type car, but you already have you're already using the engine of the guy who's smoking everyone else. So I know you've been struggling, but come on, Piastri even didn't have a couple of races and he still came back and Maniga was flying. So let's start with Ferrari. Finally. I think you guys also this at the start of testing, and that was in Barcelona. Was it Barcelona or Bahrain? The last day at Bahrain, where we were able to see the Macarena wing. And finally, Ferrari fans, my fellow fans, Forza Ferrari, we are finally getting the Macarena wing in Miami. Obviously, it's been having a couple of issues. They tried bringing it earlier, but the issues of deployment, whereby it was a little bit slow in deployment by like 0.3 seconds. Obviously, that's not good. You need like a wing to be able to deploy immediately. The moment I press my button, maniga flip, I would want it to flip immediately. So that's something that we've been waiting for, and it has finally come. Not too late, just at the right time. I believe, by the way, in some of the teams that are bringing updates for this particular start of this session that we're going in, where we're starting with Miami, Ferrari might have the biggest upgrades. There have been glazed a lot. A lot of guys have been having us on like social saying, so you may think that Ferrari, the upgrades are going to bring are going to turn their rust bucket into a rocket ship that is going to take us past the moon, maybe to like Mars. Yeah, but you have to be hopeful, obviously, as a Ferrari fan, 24/7, man. It's a team of never-ending dreams. So even you as a fan, you have to be a dreamer as well. In a change, obviously, for the Miami Grand Prix, having a change in the floor and the diffuser, we're having a little bit of additional vertical elements. This will be added. I'll add a couple of clips as well for this, so they've added a bit to maybe clearly explain. Yeah, maybe the clips may come up maybe in the next video because we are not so certain of what improvements have been made yet because this is being recorded on Wednesday. The goal obviously is to optimize SF26 in like medium to high speed corners, which has been an issue and has raised a lot of complaints from both Hamilton and Leclerc. Like they need the car to be hyper fast in those medium and high speed corners, but a little bit of imbalance. Sorry, not actually speed, but more of like imbalance. Yeah, so that's why we're having a redefined diffuser and redefined flow, and finally a halo fin. But apparently they say it's to help them improve on the cleaner. Let me even read it from them actually. Uh, to clean up airflow entering the engine intake. I mean, yeah, makes sense. Honestly, I have nothing to say much about it, but makes sense. I'm more excited about the Macarena ring, honestly, to be honest, because that's something I believe that is going to. It's not too much speed, but it will give us at least a little bit more than what we've been having. And on to the McLaren. The McLaren is shipping out a bespoke car, and for all those who do not know what a bespoke so for all those who don't know what a bespoke car is, it's basically a 2.0 version of the like spec car that you released out at the start of the season. So that's what they're doing. They're bringing an entirely brand new car for Miami. Like guys, relax. Bro, relax. Like you already have a Mercedes engine. Yeah, you've been struggling. We've noticed. You've missed a couple of races. And you've decided to reimagine the car. Hopefully it's good. I won't say much. Hopefully it's good, honestly. You know, with McLaren, I like Piastri. Yeah, so the fact that I like him, whatever they do, like in terms of their development deployments, I usually hope they're very good and kind towards Piastri, unlike last season, man. Oh, because Land has been here. So remember when I said that these guys are shipping a brand new car entirely? Yeah, everything is changing. I mean, even their thinking around their aerodynamic has changed. Like they struggled so much at the start of the season. Their stats have really been trash. Oh god. I mean, if there's a trash start, I mean Red Bull is worse. McLaren is close second. They really struggled so much at the start of the season, but hopefully with these new aerodynamic shifts they're going to bring in, they should make them a little bit better. There are going to be some changes in like the body work shape and all that. I don't have definite details exactly that have been changed, but should I get them, I will share them with you most definitely before after the video drops actually. The main goal for the McLaren is actually performance recovery. Obviously, we knew the previous season and the previous 2 seasons, they were really dominating so much until the car rules were changed. So that's something they're looking to get back to. They weren't able to field a car. I think I've forgotten that race. I've actually forgotten that race. There's a race where McLaren wasn't able to actually put out a car and they had to like forfeit. Bro, I mean, that was so embarrassing for a team that had won the championship, the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors' Championship the previous season. I mean, that was nasty. So, since we're done with McLaren, I mean, there's not too much even to talk about. I mean, it's been a whole month of no Formula One and we still don't have too much to talk about. I mean, guys, muchitu kwadere, bro. Give us more races. I can't believe 3 races were scrapped off and we just got a whole month. Sorry, 2, I think 2. Because we lost Bahrain, Saudi. Did you lose Saudi? Yeah, I think we lost the Bahrain and Saudi. That's not nice. We should get a refund on those races. On to Red Bull Racing Bulls. Obviously, they are still having that issue. One being that is Max Verstappen. The nigga that wants to retire, or he just wants to leave this fucking team is like, bro, you guys are not making for me a good car. So he's trying to find ways around that, obviously, with different conversations. A lot of guys also living within the confines of. I mean, it's not good days for Red Bull, honestly. It's not good days, and I feel they need to find a solution soon. Otherwise, they are going to lose some of their best drivers, man. It's not looking nice for them. And this is one of the solutions they decided to bring. You know how the Ferrari showed off their Macarena ring towards the start of the season, and a lot of people were having issues and they were complaining. And why did they bring it out so late? They do that's unsportsmanlike. They don't want us to copy them. Obviously, my nigga. Yeah, so they decided to make a pragmatic Macarena wing. That's the route they decided to take. So they're going to be having a pragmatic. So it doesn't entirely flip like the one for Ferrari. I really don't know exactly how it flips, man. We shall have to see this in Miami, because all they say is that it just has a faster activation time, which is obviously that's something Ferrari was struggling with. So that means if it's pragmatic, that means it's not flipping exactly like how the Ferrari ones is working. I do believe there should be a contrast in that. That should be the differentiating part there. And they did talk about it having lesser rotation. So that means it won't have the full rotation that obviously, you know how the Ferrari wing like flips entirely. So I don't think it will be having that. Maybe it will be having halfway that or like 3/4 of that. Then after that, I don't know, man. They should be confident about it. But all I know is the activation time should be faster. That's all I know. That's all I can give you guys as per now. There's not too much that they've shared, and the best we can know is after the race or when we start the practice days, and we see some of them show some of these wings off and all that. So yeah, let's wait and hope, man. I mean, that's the only big change they had. Yeah, I mean, for a car that is struggling like that, you'd want them to come out with something more. But then again, you know, with Formula One, the FIA, the cups, there's so much you can do in a short period of time. So, because there are fines and all that. So you have to be very careful. So another thing maybe they added the side pod profile. That's something they've worked on. So one of the inlets of the side pods has been improved so that it can improve the airflow to the engine, making it cool down faster or stay cool longer. One of the two. But I mean, if it's one of the two or both, I mean, that's still a win. How Red Bull was struggling at the start of the season. They were having cooling issues. The car they had could not really cool the engine down very well. So you have to reinvent some of the things. The small things. I know you're hearing, man, side pod. I tell why is the guy changing his side pod? Yeah, man, it's essential. We see when you change your side pod and it helps in, let's say the one that allows in air. It helps cool down your engine. So your engine is going to stay cool. It won't be overheating. So you can maximize its performance. Are you seeing? So the Red Bull has been struggling. At least in the first 3 rounds, you saw the Red Bull struggled, guys. And one of those key factors of their struggling was the engine could not cool down. I mean, you decide to make a car that can't really cool down very well. Yeah, man. Kawa. Anyway, they've worked on that. That's been worked on, so kudos to them. And I think lastly, man, is like Mercedes. They didn't really tweak much. Theirs were more of like reinventions, improving this, improving that. So they just improved that suspension tweaks and reduction in weight, because obviously we had the rumors going on that apparently there could have been a chance that the W17 could have been actually overweight from the standard weight that was required. So there's a possibility they were overweight. That is as to why that is an improvement. I don't see it as such, but they consider it as such. So we've gone through all those first 2 segments, and I mean, aren't you just pumped for Miami? Yeah, you're pumped, but relax. This is Formula One. This is what they call the FIA. The FIA will never let you rest. But obviously, you know, we've been having issues with the new regulations, and now we've been having, like, you know, the deployment has been a struggle. So a key talking point, the battery, like, the cars can't really go racing because you have to just time. I mean, with the new battery, you get to look at it, they're like, I have to first reach a certain, for me to be able to attack and overtake you, I have to get my battery charged to a certain level. Then I can be able to attack you and overtake you. I mean, if my battery runs out and I'm trying to overtake you, it's done. There's nothing. I'm not going to overtake you. So if it's halfway the overtake and the battery is done, I've finished it, I have to wait another lap to be able to come and try and overtake you again. That means I have to maintain a distance to you to be able to overtake you. So some of those rules have really been controversial, and people have not really liked them because they're like, it's really putting a hindrance on like racing. Obviously, don't tell that to my team. Don't tell that to my brothers. You know who I'm talking about. Ferrari, nigga. So the FIA has finally rewritten the playbook. Finally, they've decided, they're like, you know what? Fuck it. I know some of these changes we made are us. We don't want to accept it, but we have to accept it. So the lift and coast era is done. It's done, just like that. 3 races in and it's done. Not completely. It's just a couple of changes that have been made. Just bring them to your notice and you can go and race. So the first rule change that has been implemented is a 7 mg cap. So I know it does sound like a downgrade from the 8 mg, but I kid you not, it's not. So currently now with this new 7 mg, you can only harvest 7 mg overlap from 8. And that sounds like more of a penalty, a downgrade, but it gives you more power. It gives you basically 350, kW. I don't know how to pronounce as well, guys. I don't know if it's kilojoules or kilowatts. I think it's kilowatts, though. It's kilowatts. I sound so uneducated, man. So it gives you 350 kilowatts. If you're to remember, one of the reasons why the MGU-K trick was banned, because they could get energy up to 350 kilowatts. So you see, that was scrapped off. But now, because you're now only able to harvest 7 mg, you can be able to get either close or more than that amount of energy. Now, you literally get close to that amount of energy that you were getting from the previous MGU-K trick without any downsides. Yet to be seen. We cannot fully acknowledge that until we actually see it. Yeah, so for now, speculative if it would really go above the 350 kilowatts. Another major change that is coming is a zone cap. So apparently in Miami, which has a bit of, it's twisty. It has very twisty bits. So in the corners, the power has been capped to 250 kilowatts and the straights at 350 kilowatts. So ideally, this basically combats the MGU-K trick that Mercedes had. I think you can hear most of these changes in a way responsive, like let's say it tied to Mercedes, the Mercedes car, because it's that particular loophole that guys are looking at. Also, yes, you want to keep guys calm, not too pissed off. So you have to do that. You have to ban it, then give them a way of maybe other teams be able to like recover. Also giving Mercedes an edge, like saying, okay, I've taken this from you, but now have this. You get like, I don't know, man, but that's what they've decided to do. And it does nullify it, obviously. Sorry, it nullifies actually. No, it nullifies the Mercedes. It nullifies the Mercedes engine. It modifies the Mercedes engine advantage in slow sections and puts the fight back on aero and grip, ideally where it has always been. So, Mercedes, where and I'm looking with a nervous smile and all that, but yeah, we're static, man. We're static. So if you remember in the last race, and this is a final rule, this rule is mainly coming because of what happened to Oliver Behrman. I've actually quote unquote called it the Behrman rule. So remember in the last race he had an accident. That's because he was trying to overtake. I think it was Esteban Ocon. He was trying to. Was it? I'll check and I'll be able to remind myself. I think it was Esteban Ocon, and he had an accident. So this rule was mainly to combat that. So they have now put a cap on boost as well. So it can only deploy 150 kilowatts. Can only deploy 150 kilowatts, and there are no more slingshot overtakes, which obviously are very dangerous, and these new cars could do, very prone to doing. someone could literally do it. My nigga, I have got you at a corner and I have an opportunity. I want to slingshot past you. So they had a lot of power, obviously boosted a lot of power. And obviously, whenever taking someone like at a high speed corner, the moment they get into your way, the likely chances of you getting into an accident are really, really high, guys. And some of these tracks are not really so big that they can, racing, guys. I have nothing to say. I can just say it's just racing. You want to bypass me? Fuck no. I'm going to try and cover up. What do you mean? So essentially the Oliver Behrman rule is the final thing we're talking about. And guys, I cannot be proud. I started this podcast in 2024. I didn't record in the whole of 2025. I was going through a lot, and I'm back 2026, and I am even recording a video. I am really, really super stoked. You guys who are still on this journey with me, let's keep going. Let's keep getting it, man, guys. I am super pumped. Really, really super appreciative to every single person that still follows up with the podcast. And I mean, if you've been here for 2 years even without me putting out content in the last year, thank you. And this is a sign that more is to come. F1 podcast, your host Legio Manuel Anthony. We are out.